know there's going to be a lot of people probably jumping in at some point, but I got a lot of work to do today. Let me grab some stuff. All right, so got a lot of grinding to do, a lot of shaping, so I'm just gonna jump right into it and try to get as much of it done as I can. I got new straps, I guess that's what it was. New straps for my mask. So. Let me talk for a minute. So this is where we stopped last week with this little veggie chopper knife here. Just kind of cut off the contours. This is another one I've been working on. You see it's kind of roughed in here a little bit more. And then I got these little scallops in here. So that's what we're gonna pick up on here into working into this nice transition. This is still kind of rough, but you can definitely see how it's starting to take a lot more shape from where this one is. So we'll start where that one is and pick up from there and see how far we get today. So. Yeah, so and I'm doing a lot of talking. So let me just say this, that where these little chamfers are on here, I'm going to use those as a guide. And you can see the lines are roughed in here. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So when I go to use this wheel, it's going to come down from where this point is, where I got this tape. It's going to come in, cut in here, and then cut out. So that's what we're going for here. I'll do my best to show you. It's hard to show it from here because I'm so close to this grinder when I'm grinding it, but we'll see how it goes. See, it's just starting to cut right here.
Get a little closer. See, it's right here. So right here, come all the way out. And now we're just working up here towards the top now.
Okay, welcome, 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 everybody that hopped in there. If you have any questions about what I was doing, let me know. So we got this pretty much roughed in. And we got those hollows in here. Gives it a really comfortable feel. So from here, I'm going to do a lot of the shaping by hand and finishing it up. One, because it's easier to explain. And you can understand instead of me having a mask on all the time. So if you got questions, let me know. But I'll try to explain everything as I'm going. So I'm going to start here on top, shaping it. And I'm going to start with 80 grit. And all I'm trying to do is work this radius around. Kind of like this one is already. See, I've already started on this one. And kind of this is kind of what we're going to do. This is still a little bit rough, but it's a really comfortable handle. So, all right, let's get it. And I'm just going to be working. Let me see if I'll bring you in here a little bit. I'm just going to be working this around. This area right here. You can see where it's kind of radiused right here. I'm going to be working it around until it meets up with this steel. That's where we're going. That's the part that I'm looking at. That's what I'm focusing on. And you see as I'm working it here, it's starting to radius over. And that's all we're doing is we're using this kind of as like a slack belt. Same thing I would be doing on the grinder. Takes a little bit longer here, but it's easier for me to show and explain it. I'll say it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. So that's all there is to it. I'm gonna see if I can get this in a good position for y'all to see what's going on here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. I don't know how I'm gonna do it right now. Trying to get it into a better spot that you guys can see, but I don't know. That's something I need to work on. But yeah, we're trying. This material is pretty tough, so how's everybody's day going, man? I'm telling you, like, it's unusually warm right now. It's been like the 30s in the morning, but now it's almost like 75 outside or something. Weird. So to get some of this on the spine where the actual steel is, I'm going to use a little bit of this backer just to get it. Some of this. This is actually one of my favorite materials. I don't know why sometimes, because it's a pain to work with at the same time. Not so much as some other ones, but it still can be a pain. And we're making progress. All this just takes time, you know. You can see right here, it's kind of from about here up, it looks really good. This is the area we're kind of working on now. So it all just takes time. With wood or something different, this goes a lot faster. But like I said, this material's pretty tough, but makes a good handle as well. So there's trade-offs with all of it. Once I get the initial shape, the other grits really don't take as long. You're just kind of cleaning up scratches. Right now I'm doing a lot of shaping still. Another thing with, like, if you really want to get a good finish on your knives, or pretty much anything, whether it's metal or wood, all my scratches are coming across this way, and then on the next grit, I'll come across the other way. So you'll really be able to see your scratch patterns, and then you know that the previous grit, or coarser grit, is all removed. It makes finishing a whole lot easier, and you know when you're done. You'll be able to see that you've removed all your scratches. And that's all you're trying to do, is just make a clean surface. This back end's always the hardest to get to. And don't worry about trying to conserve sandpaper. Like, sandpaper is relatively cheap, so use good sandpaper first of all. But if it's not cutting, you're not doing any work, you're just wasting time. So this looks pretty good here. So I'm gonna flip it over to the other side. Now when I start to work this underside, because there's a lot of contours and curves, the sandpaper I use, I'll get a lot thinner strips than what this is, just because it's easier to get into those areas at that point. So. So as we get into these smaller radiuses, I'll use a thinner piece. It just helps a lot to be able to get into these radiuses. And you don't really want to stay in one spot either. You kind of want to work an area so that you don't start making divot. So that's important. As you can see, like right here. You see this is like a little triangle. If I worked here and I worked here, and it's just right here where this, taller part is, it takes longer to kind of close that portion up. And that's kind of what you're looking at. You can kind of see where you worked and where you haven't. And all I'm doing is just kind of radiusing all this over. So that like when you got your hand in there, it's a really comfortable grip. And that's all we're trying to do, is just make it, comfortable in the hand. The knife's going to do its job. Want the customer to be happy. Now this bottom section where your finger's gonna be sitting a lot of times, I really get that really nice and polished up. Hey man, thanks. Knife, good. A good knife. Yeah. I see a lot of new names that I haven't seen before. So I say, if you like what I'm doing and you want to know what's going on and keep up, and you know, you can always subscribe and like and do all that. That helps me out for sure. Yeah, I try to get this, especially this under section right here, where your fingers meets up right here with this steel. You want that a really polished area, because otherwise you can really, I don't know, it's just, I won't say annoying, but it's just uncomfortable. You don't want any sharp edges right there. This little area right here is the hardest to get to. It's like either you're on the hump or you're over the hump. So. And you gotta, like this back in here, I try to be careful. I don't want to go past this area because even though it's not sharp, it's still kind of a detail where you got this little like peak. So I try to keep that area nice and defined. And I say, I'm not using, well, I mean, I did use the grinder, I would say, but like even this, a lot of this could even be done by hand. You might be using different shapes, different contours, but it's all possible. Down this last little piece. Let's see if we can cut it one more time. Yeah, we got it. Okay. I'm always moving because I don't want to sit in one spot. You don't want to start digging a hole, you know, a little divot. You're trying to smooth everything out, and I'm trying to radius it all at the same time, so. I always like to start on the top of the knife and the bottom of the knife first. It just allows me to have more of a rounded shape, and that the sides will tend to be, I won't say more flat, but it indexes better. You'll be able to tell, hey, what's going on, Cody? It'll allow you to tell where the edge of the blade is, because even though all this will be contoured, like, even though this blade is contoured here on this one, it's still, I don't want to say relatively more flat. It's a taller oval, so if you got your eyes closed or you're cutting, you can tell where the edge of that blade is. So that's why I like to do the tops first and then the bottoms, because if you start on the sides, it tends to get more round and wants to roll in your hand more. So that's why I start with the top and the bottom first, and then I do the sides. And once I get all that, then I kind of come back here to this little butt area. So that's why I do that. I had to get some more sandpaper before too long. Does anybody got any questions about what I'm doing? Or just any questions in general? I mean, throw them out there. I'll do my best to answer them. I don't mind helping people out, or you're just, you know, you're curious about something. You don't know what you don't know. Some people act like they know, but, you know. There are a lot of different ways of doing this, I can tell you that, but this seems to work for me. Honestly, I can do a lot of this on the grinder, but it's a lot easier to mess up too. Okay. So you're always trying to